And welcome to Three Friends and All the Things. We're going to do a quick 2-minute drill. We are going to ask Dave some questions and we're going to see what he thinks about the answers. And we will start this over because I just fucked that up and Jay can edit that out.
Do you want me to stop it?
Okay. No, keep it rolling because then he can cut it out. He can just, I told him we'll just keep it rolling and we'll just do it that way. Okay. All right. So give me a second. Ready?
Yep, go ahead.
You ready, Gia? You too hot?
Yeah, having flashes. Wait, is my makeup done?
I don't know.
I didn't get my powder job before I got on.
Jesus Christ. Okay, ready?
Yeah.
Be quiet. Be quiet. Shh. Silence. Wait. Welcome to Three Friends and All the Things. We are going to try something new tonight, and we are going to go into what we are going to call 2-minute drill. I'm going to ask Dave some questions regarding the Eagles, and we're going to see what his answers are going to be. So, Dave, are you ready?
Fire away.
Okay, question number 1. Jalen Hurts can be elite, but what is actually holding him back right now?
I believe what's holding him back is he has had growth. And I think what's holding him back is switching of offensive coordinators year in and year out, because when you do well, that opens up head coaching spots for other teams, and they want to take those coaches from your team and hire them because they think, well, these guys are great. So when you flip-flop, and what the Eagles have done in the past is they've got veteran coaches who are play callers and were successful. And that's why Jalen went to 2 Super Bowls back, not back-to-back, but within a year apart, because they had 2 veteran play callers. The 2 years where we've been struggling, we've hired guys in the room, brought them up, quarterback coaches, and they've never called a play. And Jalen, I think, struggles with that. I think he has gotten a little bit of an ego because he's won a Super Bowl and he's a winning quarterback, and not having what he feels is a good play caller or a guy that can design plays to get him free to be able to use his talents. I think that affects him and it holds him back. And I also think once in a while he holds himself back. So I don't think he likes to take too many chances. And that impels, I don't want to use numbers as what it is. It impels his numbers. So when people look at him like, well, he's not elite because he doesn't have these numbers. He's not an Aaron Rodgers guy. Like, he doesn't throw up 4,000 yards a year and he doesn't throw 40 touchdowns a year. He's very decisive. He makes quick decisions. And a lot of times if his first or second option ain't open, he takes off. Now, I don't think he reads the field as well as he should. But again, that comes with growth, and it's hard to do when you have offensive coordinators inside that are just flip-flopping every year. When you get that success, it's hard to keep coaches.
Okay. The offensive line. The O-line has been the backbone of the team for years. So why does it feel like they're constantly a step late or that they're out of sync? What's going on there?
This year, we've lost some offensive linemen from the year before due to the fact that free agency and cap issues. We had to let certain guys go because of the cap and the fact that a couple of the guys were free agents. And now you're kind of running, we drafted a few rookies. We also took in a couple free agents of our own that are low costing guys, and injuries this year because of our older linemen who've been successful for the run game and for protecting Jalen are injured, and we're putting backups in, and these guys don't have the continuity because they're not in. So when they pop in, it's usually for the team the way it is, it's usually the next guy up when that happens. And Jeff Stoutland's the guy that coaches the line. He's been in with the Eagles for a long time, and he does a really great job prepping these guys. But I still think if you're not in the game and you're not on the line with the rest of the guys that are there with you, continuity stinks, and it just makes for a long game. And I think that once the guys who are injured come back, I think you're going to see the things stable out a little bit better.
Okay. Well, the play calling feels like we're trying to force something that is just not working. So being that we have the talent, why aren't the coaches using it better?
It comes down to the offensive coordinator. I'm very critical of our head coach because I don't think he was ever a great call player. He was, he came to the Eagles with the sense of being a offensive minded coach. He was a receivers coach. He did get involved with a bunch of veteran coaches such as Andy Reid. When Andy Reid went to the Chiefs, Nick Sirianni was there as an assistant. I don't remember what he coached on their team at the time, but I know that he coached either a half season or a full season under Andy Reid, and then he got one either released or he got moved to he signed with a different team. I think he signed as an assistant coach under Frank Reich with Indianapolis Colts, and he was a receiver coach there. But again, it comes back to the offensive coordinator. The guy doesn't scheme well. He's not a great play caller. I see plays that, they strike on, like with Saquon as a screen. They'll throw screens to him. He scores. He scored 5 times this year so far on a screen pass. They've yet to go back to it since they started this losing streak. They haven't seen one pass to him. And if it's in a situation where it may look like a screen, or even if it is a screen, because of the offensive line being injured, Jalen has to release the ball faster than he wants to. So it doesn't give him much of an option. And they don't go back to the plays that they're successful with. I think they struggle with an identity. And last year we had the best running back in football. This year he could be the best, but the problem with him is, he's getting hit before he even gets the ball in his hands, right? He doesn't get out of the backfield. He gets hit before he gets out of the backfield. So it's a struggle with that. The play calling, again, is terrible. There's no creativity. We're not getting our wide receivers free on the outside. We're throwing little short dinky dink passes, and defenses are picking up on that. They're starting to realize that the Eagles right now, they can't run the ball, so we're one dimensional. So they just rush the passer. So Jalen's always on the move. And when they're rushing, a lot of times they would rush outside in, which would free up the middle. So you would just hand the ball off to Saquon. He'd run up the middle and you get 5 yards. So that would kind of, push your linebackers back, make them delay a little more so they're not rushing. So now you open up the passing game with that. But the fact that our line can't block, and opposing defenses see that, and they see that, there's a lot of injuries on the front line. So they put their ears back and they take off and they just go right after the quarterback. So it makes it tough on Jalen. It makes it tough on Saquon. And if you don't have a good play caller who can figure out how to create around that, it makes it even tougher. And I think a lot of the frustration that we're seeing right now, in my belief, and I could be wrong, but in my belief, I think they're frustrated with the play calling. I think players are, and I know players in their mind that if they voice their opinion and there's no changes made, then they rather fail at it to get the guy fired, to get somebody in there different who's going to make it better. And until it gets better with creativity, or even if the head coach says, hey, listen, Kevin Patullo, you're not calling plays no more. You're going to take a break. I need you to do other things. And that hasn't happened yet. And they're taking the coaching staff, and I believe even it'll happen when ownership gets involved, because our owner takes a lot of pride in doing stuff and getting involved in the everyday shenanigans that go on the field, so to speak. A lot of owners don't. There's a few owners out there that do, and ours just happens to be one of them. He likes to succeed. He doesn't like to see this. And I think a lot of things right now are holding us back altogether. In fact, that there's a lot of rumors going on in the locker room that Jalen's just not a team player. He just kind of like isolates himself from everybody else. Communication looks like it's bad. And when you're winning, it's easy to hide that stuff. When you start to lose, people start to pick it apart and throw stones and point the finger. So I think right now that's where we are. And I think, we're trying to force stuff that it's just not there, and they don't have anything else to go to. So and what I'm saying, it's the same plays over and over. It may look a little different, but it's like, we're not running screens to our running back. We're running them to our wide receiver. And it's not even our number one wide receiver. It's our number 2. Well, the number 2 wide receiver is skinny. He doesn't have anything to him. So when he catches the ball, if your lineman can't block, he's already getting hit. And if you're going to throw that type of play, you got to throw it to your running back in this situation, because he's the one he can take more hits. And he's used to having space in field and making moves to make guys miss. And your receiver, he's not used to doing that. He's used to getting open and pulling off a big play. So I think that they need to change some of that. And until they do that, it's just going to be the same thing over and over again. So I'm hoping this weekend that they decide to do something a little bit different, go back to leaning on the run game heavy. And instead of running up the middle inside the tackles, run outside the tackles where Saquon's more effective. And that's where your strength is on your line right now. Your outside tackles are your strength. Like your guards inside are where our injuries are. Lane Johnson's hurt, but they have Fred Johnson covering for him right now. And he's a veteran and he knows how to do what he has to do. And I think with having those and having Marlotta out there, that'll work for us, but we have to do it. We just have to commit to it and do it.
So we all want to see the version of the Eagles that we had last year, the Super Bowl champions, the winners, the team that stuck together and really made it all happen. So being that there is this disconnect between the players and the play calls and just the whole scheme in general, what realistically needs to change in order to get us back to the Super Bowl champion team that we know that we can be before we lose this season?
Well, I think in my opinion, there's three parts to this. The first part is you need commitment from the players. And it's not just one or two, it's everybody. You have to commit. They're a family-oriented team. They've always been that way since Jeffrey Lurie's took the team over. And I think you need commitment from your players. And I think what you need to do is you need to have and I'm sure they've done this, but I don't know if they've done a heart-to-heart one. I think they need to have a team meeting, and I think everybody needs to be in it, not just our positioning meetings, like not all wide receivers be in one meeting, quarterbacks in another, running backs in another. I think we just have to have, and they've probably done this. So I'm going on speculation. So in my opinion, you got to have that meeting, and you have to get out all the dirt on the table and see where the problems lie, whether it's personalities clashing, whether it's a guy that wants numbers and he's not getting it, and he's throwing tantrums. I'll throw in a quick person as AJ Brown. He's looking for his numbers. Everybody knows it. He's saying he's not, but he is. And when Jalen has thrown him a couple passes over the last 3 games, more than a couple, I should say, probably. If I were to guess a number, I'd say anywhere from 5 to 10 passes that he just either, 1, didn't finish the route, 2, didn't give a lot of effort, and you could just see his laziness in it. So I think that's the first part, getting everybody to commit to it and giving 100% to get back to, that's your starting point to get there. Your play calling ability, something has to change there. You have to go back to what you did best last year. And then right now, unfortunately, because of the way our line's situated, your strength was your run game. So maybe you may not be able to run heavy, but you have to be more of a balanced offense, not one-dimensional. Because right now we're one-dimensional. We throw the ball. That's it. We can't run it effectively. We're not doing it effectively, and defenses are seeing that. They're picking up on it, and they're telling their defensive coaches, telling their defensive guys, listen, I want you to pin your ears back, and I want you going full choke at the quarterback. Don't stop. Just keep putting that pressure on. And if you throw the ball 40 times a game, you're going to turn it over. It's just like when we go out and drive every day. Sooner or later, you're going to get in an accident. You hope you don't, but the probabilities are there. You know what I mean? The more you do it, the more you open yourself up for these elements to, turnovers and stuff like that. So I think if they stop jumping to throwing it and staying with the pass, break it up a little more, commit to the run, because we've done some games where we've committed to it early and we were successful with it, and then we went away. Like last week in the first half, I think they ran the ball maybe 10 times, and Saquon ran for a 52-yard touchdown, and then after that, he touched the ball 5 times in the second half. And you weren't down. It wasn't like you were down 30 points and you had no other choice but to pass the ball. It was a close game. It was a lot of back and forth, and we were in the lead at one point. So in that last quarter, when we had the 3-point lead, is a basic, let's just run the clock down. So let's run the ball, but don't run it up the middle where they're going to stop you, because they know that's what you're going to do. So you have to, they have to be, I think, the coaching staff, the offensive coordinator, and whoever else is on that staff, they have to be more creative. Maybe it's kind of late in the game to change the offense around now, but you can be more creative to open up the playing area for these guys and make them successful. Right now, they're just not doing it. The third thing is, I think the mindset has to change. I think there's a lot of me, and not enough of us. I mean, I think that's where you saw last year, everybody being on the same page, everybody being devoted to one thing and one thing only, and that was winning. Didn't care how we did it, just get it done. These guys are, for the receiver, everybody says the receivers are the prima donnas. They kind of are. They want their numbers. They want to be the guy. But when you
Mm-hmm.
have so many offensive talented players on one team, it's hard to do. You can't feed everybody's mouth. It's
Mm-hmm.
impossible. So you have to, you have to kind of put your ego away. If you want to be part of a Super Bowl winner, if you look at the Super Bowl teams of the past, like guys like Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers, like these guys they didn't care about the money. They just devoted their time to winning. And that was it. That's all they want to do is win.
Right. Well, thank you, Dave, for your insight on the Eagles. And we want to know what you guys think. So please drop us a line, drop a comment. Let us know. What do we do to fix this? What is your opinion on this team? I know that they are not the Super Bowl champions that they were last year because they clearly have proven that. So we want to hear from you. And until then, stay safe, keep it real, and remember who you are.
Go Birds. Jay Bird. Elizabeth, I'm coming.
I don't know if that's going to work with the music.
I read that clock wrong. I thought that thing said 16 seconds. I'm like, I've only been doing this for 16 seconds. Holy shit. It's 16 minutes.
I'm thinking, oh my God, Jay's going to have a heart attack. I was going to start doing this. And then I'm like, I better not. But he can edit it all out. He's going to be mad. Sorry,
tell
Jay.
him to be mad. I told him I wasn't paying attention to the clock. That's my fault. So you can blame me for that.
Yeah, well, that's okay. It's all good. Yeah. It's all good. But I mean, I think your insight was awesome.
It's kind of hard to do. It's kind of hard to do a 2-minute clip like that unless you're just doing you have to have somebody on the clock and there has to be a buzzer. So when you run out of time, you got to cut it off. You know what I mean? Right.
But he can edit it into short clips. He could do one question or, whatever. However he wants to edit it is totally